Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's another car video today because my Skoda Fabia Monte Carlo, it's the Mk2, has a leak and it's collecting quite a lot of water in the boot, but I want to sell it soon, so I need to get it sorted. So if we open her up, get the rubbish out of the way, I'll take out the old boot liner and you may be able to see a few nice white bits which really shouldn't be there. That is mould, so this is going completely in the bin. I have already been in here. I need a light. I have already been in here when I was doing my service last weekend. I had to come in here to get the little pull tab to get the wheel lug nut covers off, and I discovered that everything inside the wheel well here was soaked. I've had to throw away the air compressor. Luckily there wasn't actually much in there because I had most of it in the garage, such as the jack and stuff. But then on taking that out, you can see again I've got a bit of moisture around by here. My finger is definitely wet there. I put this towel in to try and soak up any little bits, but it looks like there's still more coming in. The last time I was in here, I actually had to scoop out around 15 litres of water, which, I mean, I'm sure you don't have to be a car person to know you shouldn't have 15 litres of water sloshing around in your spare wheel well. So the next step was figuring out where that water had come from. I had heard before there's a pretty good Facebook group called Fabia Monte Carlo Owners UK or something like that, where I've noticed a couple of posts before about a similar issue. So by the looks of it, I need to take off the rear bumper. I need to take out the light fittings as well to be able to access some flaps. If you didn't know, pretty much every single car on the market will have some flaps. They're basically one-way valves almost, so that when you slam the boot shut, it allows air to escape through those flaps, basically reducing the pressure inside. So by the look of it, it's those flaps or the sealant around them which may have deteriorated, if there was any sealant in the first place. So we need to get everything off the back of the car, get to those flaps, take them off, give it a good clean up and reseal those flaps, and hopefully that should do the job. And I'll also probably just leave it outside. It's a nice sunny day, let it dry out properly, get some air going through there as well. So let's go. So the first job is we need to jack the car up, not very far. The wheel doesn't even need to leave the ground, so it's just enough so we can get our hands in to work inside the wheel arch. We need to get our torx bit, I think it's T20 or T25, just to undo the trim so that we can loosen the bumper. As you can see, the tyre is just barely off the ground in this case. My jack is on its minimum setting. It's literally just to give us more space to get underneath the arch to release some clips underneath there. Compare that to the other side, which I've not yet done. We have a lot more room to play with. Under the arches there are, how many are there? There's 1, 2, 3, maybe it's just 3 clips. I'm guessing there's one under this dirt here. Yeah, there's one down there as well. And yes, I know I need to clean the car more often, But the problem here is that my neighbours are all dairy farmers. So as soon as I clean the car, you can guarantee there's been a cattle crossing, and I'm going to be driving through all of that shit. But I am determined, when I get this new car, I will change my ways. So, let's get these bolts undone. These are T25 torx, by the way. There we go. Next job is on the inside of the boot. We have one of these screws on either side, as you can see there. Just need a wide flathead to be able to crack those open, and that will let us take off the light fittings. Like so. With the light fittings, you could just leave the whole thing hanging off the side of the car. I would rather not do that. So I'm just going to pop out the bulbs. All I need is a little twist. I'll leave the bulbs hanging. Two, three. Four. And 5. There we go. And the whole thing will come away. And I've already done the other one. Okay, next there are just a couple of trim clips. Get this camera right. So there's one either end. One of them is here, and one on the other side as well. Just need our trusty little trim clip remover. We'll see if it works. If it needs a bit of a fiddle first, I always find it's handy to just have a knife with you as well. Hopefully I can do these without snapping them, because I don't think I have any spares. I have just spotted a cable tie, so I'm assuming someone's been behind here before. I don't think that's factory fitted. Come on, trusty knife. That's out a little bit more, so we can get the tool right underneath it. Here we go. Come on. There we go. I think we did it. We got it out without snapping. But it feels like the rest of it is solidly in there. We'll see. Let's do the other side. That was a lot easier. There we go. So really, this should just need a bit of a tug. There we go. That's the whole clip removed. Okay, so what we now need to do is, seeing as we've got the arch liner loose, we need to pull that back. Are you fucking kidding me? So right here, there is supposed to be a screw securing the bumper, and that screw just isn't there. So someone's obviously had this off before and not put the fucking screws back on. Amateurs. I mean, I'm an amateur, but do it properly. Come on. Okay, so it looks like I missed a screw. There's one, two, three, but there's one more a bit further up by here. So I'm just going to remove that as well. I'm sure it's going to be the same size, T25. Where's it gone? There we go. Same on the other side. Even though we've now removed the other screw up towards the top here, this bumper screw is not easy to get to. I've just done it on the other side. It took me 5-10 minutes just to be able to pull back the arch liner far enough. It's a funny angle to try and get the tool. It's a T20 torx. I put the bendy attachment on as well, and only because of that was I actually able to properly get at it. So we'll start a timer on this one, I think. See how long this one actually takes me. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Okay, that one was a lot easier actually. It probably just depends on whether you're right or left-handed. Got it. Right then. Now, I believe all we have left to do is 1, 2, 3 and 4 bolts, all of which are a T30. So these I think should be pretty quick and easy to do. And then in theory, the whole bumper should come off. We can actually now see as well, that black bit there, that is the top of the vents or flaps that we are going to be resealing. I think the real culprit is this one, because from what I have seen, water has been coming in on this side and then flooding. So we'll see what it looks like. Nice. Don't know if you can see that, but that is a spider's nest. Pretty cool. It's not ideal for the car, but I love finding stuff like that. Okay, so I'd forgotten that this car has something that not all Fabias will have, which is reverse parking sensors. They do my head in. I hate them. I do not use them. So for me, it wouldn't really be an issue if I dropped the bumper and disconnected them. But I want to sell it, and it's a nice feature to have for some people. So when you're taking the bumper off, don't let it just fall to the ground, because we have all these sensors which need disconnecting first. So yeah, bear that in mind. Okay, so these are the flaps in question. Interestingly, it's very thin film, we can get a look inside and see some insulation, or I'm guessing it's just used for filtration or something. But on this side, it'll be interesting to see whether that insulation stuff is damp or not. So I'll compare the two just to confirm that it's coming in through this side. You can see a nice bit of mud built up on top of them as well. How? I have no idea. I guess we'll find out. Nice. Look at all that. That is not so pretty. Thought that was a good time to break for lunch. And it's Easter Monday. So we've got dessert as well. We need to clean and seal. Let's get to it. Okay, update. So I've cleaned each of the vent holes over there, and while I was at it I was just having a look at this by here, and I noticed that one of the 10mm bolts, the nut inside there, was right on the end of the bolt, whereas all the others were tightened up fully. So when you've got big parts of the car off like this, it's always a good opportunity to just take a moment and tighten up any loose ends. It could save you in the long run. I don't think that's what was causing the leak though, so yeah, we're still going to seal up the vents. Okay, so these are our flaps right here, and that's just a little sort of porch almost, which slides on top of it like that. This comes straight off, just two little tabs. I've given both of these a good old scrub, dry, and run them over the heat gun as well to make sure they're super dry. And then with the actual flaps themselves, This is the seal, I suppose you call it. You can see there's a seal, it's almost like a dual seal all the way around it. There's a load of crud just all up inside that, and then on the inside here you could see where there was old sealant which just wasn't doing its job anymore. So I've scrubbed all of that. I got the knife out and scraped all the old stuff off it. It's now looking nice and clean and very dry as well. I've run that over the heat gun as well. If you use a heat gun on these, do be sure just keep it moving. Don't let one part of it heat up too much at once. Don't know what exactly the actual rubber flaps are made out of, but they could certainly start warping, I think, if there was too much heat applied to them. So bear that in mind. So now that they're dry and the actual panels on the car are nice and dry as well and clean, we can get these back in with some sealant around the edge. So I've got some sealant here. This is just your general purpose stuff. It should do the job really. It's been sat in here for a little while, so I'm just going to fire a little bit off, make sure it's still good, and then I'm basically going to run a ring of this all the way around the edge before I slot it in, and then I'll find something to lean against it, pressing it up against the car panel. Leave it for a little bit, make sure it's set properly, and I might even just leave the car in the garage overnight as well, just to make sure it's dry. Okay, so change of plan. That sealant is pretty old by the look of it, and it's just rock solid. I'm not getting it out of that tube. But luckily, when I was installing my Starlink, routed it through the external garage wall. In the pack came a little tube of sealant, and this is, I can feel, still nice and pliable. So I'm going to use this stuff instead. Look at that. Not everyone has Starlink stuff just sitting in their garage, do they? Okay, so I changed my mind a little bit with this. As you can see, flaps going down, the whole thing just slots in like so. That's pretty nice and secure. I think instead of applying the silicone around the edge before popping it in, I'm actually going to apply the silicone around the edge, around here. We can just about see where there's the faintest little mark where the dry rubber has just slapped against the car. So I'm going to use that as a guide to apply my silicone. So let's go. Try and do it as nicely as possible. So, as you can see, there is a reason I make a living using cameras rather than paintbrushes, but that should do the job. So now, make sure it's the right way round. Make just a double check that there's no excess dirt or fluff or anything, and then in it goes. Just push it in, making sure that there's definitely sealant all the way around the edge, which I can see that there is. There is a little bit of wiggle room if you need to just move it around a little bit. And then I'm just going to use a clean bit of cardboard to just smooth out the edges a little bit and push it into the groove. There we go, done. And then this is just a little porchway bit. Like I say, it's just two little tabs which slot in by here. So we'll just slide that on top. and we'll let that dry. That's the second one done, but I forgot to hit record. It's a bank holiday, let me off. While we're waiting for that to dry, some of you might have been wondering why I'm just binning this off completely. I mean, it's not just the carpet that's mouldy, the plyboard underneath is as well. You can see it, I've given it a scrub already. I just don't fancy having that back in my car again. So, that is going in the bin, and I actually managed to find another one. Genuine Skoda part on eBay for £23, I believe. It looked in pretty decent nick. Look at that. Genuine Skoda part. Yeah, I think £24 this cost me. It's missing, I mean, it's a bit scruffy. It's missing a bit of padding off there and around one side of the curve by the look of it. The carpet looks in top nick, so I'm very happy with that. I'm not really one for waste at all most of the time. I try and reuse what I can, but as you may know, I am trying to sell this car soon. So as soon as someone looks in the boot, if they see mould, that's probably going to put them off. While I'm still waiting for these vents to dry off, the silicone to dry off, I'm going to get this in the boot, all fitted nicely. I'm not taking the seats out, I'll be honest. I did just take a knife to the carpet, one clean cut to get the old one out. I'll probably do the same to get this one in. It's just not worth the hassle at all, and I don't have the proper bit either for taking the seats out. But there we are, no one will ever know. I think what I might actually do is take the padded trim off this one. This is the old one, just because it's black and it matches with the Monte Carlo black trim and everything. Take them off and stick them onto the new carpet, and yeah, it should match pretty nicely. Postman's just been, I'd completely forgotten about these. Nice couple of Tang torque wrenches, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch. Yeah, I've been waiting a while for these, completely forgot they were coming. So yeah, I'll probably do my lug nuts later, now that I've got them, just to test them out. Anyway, these flaps have been sitting there for quite a while now, so I'm going to just give them a bit of a wiggle, see how they're doing, and then if they're looking alright, I'll start putting the bumper back on. So it is roughly 3 hours later. I've had my dinner, had a nice cup of tea, done a cheeky live stream, and I've changed my hat as well. The only thing left to do is get this carpet piece inserted. I've swapped over the little foam padding bits. I've just basically stripped them off the old one and replaced. There was a couple of bits on this one already, but I've put the black ones on. I've just super glued those on basically. They seem really nice and sturdy, so I mean, I'm no upholsterer, but it's done the job. All I need to do now is get the knife out and cut from those two holes, just a nice clean line straight up, so that I can slot these carpet pieces underneath the back seat. between the seatbelt buckles, and then get the car back on all fours, get out of the garage, and hope that that's it, job done. There's only one way to find out whether I've done the job, which is to drive it in some horrendous rain. I'm hopeful that I have done the job, but yeah, we'll see. Let's crack on. So, hopefully that's another job well done. Like I say, there's only one way to find out if I've done the job well or not. And yeah, we'll find out in due course. With any luck, I will have sold it before too long anyway, so there we go. At that point it won't be my issue. So, thank you very much for watching this video, this arduous journey of mine that you've come along on. Hopefully, if you've been in this same situation with a leaky boot, it might have helped you out. It's very easy really to do, as long as you have the tools and common sense really, I suppose the know-how, then it's quite easy to do. It's just time consuming. If you're not that confident doing it, take it to the garage, show them this video. It will give them a good idea of what the issue is and how they might be able to resolve it. So yeah, there we are, I'll let you go. Again, thank you very much for watching. If you've got any questions, leave a comment down below, I'll be sure to get back to you. If you want to see more videos like this, please do consider subscribing, and if you liked it, give it a like. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.